what this viewer wrote to us. He was dating me in London and planning his wedding in Akwa Ibom.
Sorry,
Yes.
he was dating the same girl he's planning or separate?
Yeah. So he was dating me in London and planning his wedding.
Wedding with someone else?
His wedding with someone else, yeah, in Akwa Ibom. I have been seeing him for years. He has met my family and I met his. We have been talking about getting married, but he kept saying he had to get his career right first. One day, my friend called me and asked why I didn't tell her I was now single. And she had seen what looks like a traditional wedding pic with another woman on Facebook. I was shocked. Oh boy. Heartbroken, confused as I was. Just with him 2 weekends before, and he said nothing. Long story short, he has explained that it was his mother's pressure, as she had already picked this girl out for him. He said pics were not a wedding, but only introduction has been done. I know it sounds gullible, but I do believe him and still love him. If I can say, young lady, my daughter, my sister, if he can do that to you, if he can keep that information away from you, it shows that there's more to it. It shows there's substance. Whether it's introduction or not, you were not aware that he was going to do introduction. You were not aware of the pressures he was facing. And all I know when it comes to love, when a man loves, nobody will tell that man otherwise. Where a man wants, where his heart is, trust me, nobody will tell him otherwise. We've heard stories in the Bible, just when a man loves, he loves. So for him to go as far as introduction, which I think is a traditional wedding, I would say count your losses and keep it moving. As coldly as that. Just keep it moving. I had somebody that I had been friends with for years, like just pure friendship. One day he showed up. He was like, listen, I've known you all these years. I know your character. We don't need to date. This is not a sexual thing. I'm serious about you. I want to marry you. I'm like, oh my gosh. But just the other day at the club, you were with this person. It's like, don't worry about it. This person forced themselves on me, blah, blah, blah. And there was some truth to that. I want to marry and brought people to my house. So there was considering this marriage. However, there was a twist to the story. This person has a wife back home. They have a wife back home, but I was told that there's nothing. And then not only that, there is a wife that I know, they are separated in the UK as well. Actually, I wasn't aware about the wife back home. I was aware about the wife in the UK and I know they were separated and this person was moving back home. So anyway, long story short, I found out they had a wife. So you want to marry me, but you cannot tell me you had wife and children back home. Yeah, that's one. And then with all of that, oh, blah, blah, you're gullible. You want to marry whoever you like and you listen. And when somebody comes to you, Stephanie, and say, I don't want to date. We don't need that. No sex involved, nothing. Because I don't need to go there. I already know. My sister. It's like this is gold for me. Yeah, this is what I need. This person had gone as we were planning wedding, talking about getting married and doing all of this thing. This person I then found out. Actually, a friend called me and said, isn't this the guy you were talking about? Isn't this his wedding pictures? Jesus. I was like, no, it can't be him. He's not even in Sierra Leone. He hasn't been in Sierra Leone for over 2 years. No, it's not him. It's probably his brother. Imagine, that's how confident I was that it's not him. Long story short, it was him. He even mistakenly sent me a picture of him and the new wife when they were traveling to China. Now, this is somebody that tells me, just like this girl, just like you, girl. I felt like we did everything together. They were open to me. They tell me everything. That's what I thought. Obviously, they were not saying everything. And I know somebody just like you as well that unknowingly planned a wedding. So her Nigerian boyfriend, they've been together, they have a son, they talk about marriage. She did everything for the wedding of his wife now. Imagine that pain. Men can do that. So it's up to you to take what you want to take from this. If you listen, good for you. If you don't listen, if you want to do love, carry on, but you will never have him. You will always be his side chick.
I'm coming from another aspect of it. I understand what you're saying perfectly. And what's infuriating is the amount of lies, how you can stay with someone and be with someone and they're planning a wedding abroad without even, there's nothing like being with someone and being transparent. You guys talk about everything. For the person to have the heart to be planning something else without your opinion, without you knowing, it's just ridiculous. But looking at it from the other side is the pressures from home is very real. The pressure, especially if you're a first son. I'm not, just get me clear, I'm not saying what he's done is right. I'm just looking at it from the other aspect, right? Sometimes I'm a Nigerian girl, as a Nigerian man, and sometimes the first son, there's this fear that if you marry somebody abroad, they're going to take, like they said, like the child has lost, like you've gone, like the wife is going to take you. And so there's a real pressure for first sons in Nigeria to marry a Nigerian wife, right? So I know that pressure is real. But having somebody here and then deceiving that person, wasting that person's time is unacceptable. Saying that again, all they've done is for introduction. Introduction is not traditional wedding. Introduction is like, I'm telling your parents that my intention to get married to you, or my intention to date you. So it's like the first stage of marriage, but it's not legally accepted. Like you can do introduction in Nigeria and still break up with the person. Do you get what I mean? So he's not officially married to the person in Nigeria, right? But the lies and the deceit, that's the one I don't condone.
Stephanie, I just want to ask you, what if he was honest? So let's say he told her, okay, I'm getting pressure from the family. This is just going to be introductions whilst I buy time to think of my next move.
He's giving her the opportunity to decide if she wants it or not. Because I think when he didn't tell her, it's like she's bamboozled with this. And I think for me, one of the issue I had is not having that honest conversation with her. I think if I was her and he's told me that, I would be pushing him for us to do our own introduction. And her own, obviously she's not Nigerian, so she won't do her own wedding. But I think it would be easier for me to understand from his perspective, and I'll probably be able to have my say. I'll probably not let him do the introduction, because those things I know it's not a formal wedding, it has some significance, right? And some spiritual significance as well, because you go in and you give drinks and you tell the family. So it's a level of commitment. And why do you want to have that commitment when you're not ready to go into it? You're deceiving the girl and you're deceiving yourself, right? So it doesn't look like, from an integrity perspective, it doesn't have someone that has integrity. But it will make it a bit easier to handle, right? Because you have the option before that happens to walk away or stay, right? So it also depends on the person that you're with. For me, I would not accept it because I will feel like there's something else going on, because I'm Nigerian and I know the importance of things like that. And what time are they buying? They've been together 3 years. Like literally, what time is he buying? Because if he goes to,
like you said, the time, the pressure from the family is putting pressure, and sometimes it's hard to like say no to family. Yeah, so he's just trying to, okay, let's do it. Let me keep you guys sweet. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go for what I want. And whether it's to elope or maybe to go do a quick wedding somewhere else, or, because if they're married, they're married. And then the other girl will have to deal with the fact that he's now married to somebody else. Maybe that's the time. For me, again, I mean,
it's unfair on the other girl. I think he's unfair on the other girl, and I think it depends on how much he loves her, and they must have maybe gone through other things in their relationship, and she might feel like, okay, this is the way to go. But I think that if I was in that situation, I was like, okay, let's go get married. We go to the court and get married. What can your people do? Nothing, right?
I'm gonna just say this openly. Like, families should learn to just allow their children to make a choice and live with that choice. True. All this thing of family shame, or shame on the family, or this is who we are, our name, our status, and our this and that. At the end of the day, when that man is in that marriage and he's not happy, and this other new girl that you people have chosen for him because you think that's the woman that's right for him, and she's not happy, he's out cheating 24/7, and we see that. It's very, very common. I know somebody personally that went through that, and her and the wife knows her because she was there before. Family had pushed this wife from Nigeria. She knows this other girl. She goes to the house. It's just a mess. The wife having children, calling this other girl, oh, stay away from my husband, we're married now, and all this. It's just a complete mess. If people know the reality of the people that will be living the life, because the worst thing is that when you make a choice and you stick by your choice that makes you happy, you're going to be alienated from your family, and nobody wants to go through that. That's a lot of pain. It's a lot of loss, so it's all just a mess. You know what, girl, if you want to stick by him, and just accept the situation as it is, say that he has a wife and you have his heart, keep going.
I was young, I was 23 when I met my ex-husband. He saw me, I'm Igbo, he's Igbo. I was ideal. But before that, he was dating someone else. He was dating someone from another African country who the parents didn't quite like, but they did it for a long time. So when he met me, things went really quick. We got married and everything, but he never stopped speaking to that girl. He never stopped dating her. So even when we were married, there was still conversation. And I was like, I'll get to the point where I was seeing messages. Sometimes he doesn't come back home. I'm like, what's going on? And I went through, I can be very nosy when I want to be. Went through then it was emails, and I saw him message to him, "Oh, you're the person I really loved. I married this lady because my parents approved of her," right? And we broke up, and he went back to her. Oh. They didn't get married or anything. I think after a while, she actually sent me a message a few years ago to say, "I'm sorry," because during the time we were together, I had 2 kids. They were still dating, right? So it cost me a lot of pain. It cost me a lot of heartache because it wasn't what I expected. But I think men should stop looking at what is ideal that my mom is going to accept and look exactly do you want as a person, because what you want as a person is matter. If you marry someone based on my mom wants, you only regret it because you're not probably in love with that person and you're still in love with the person you've been with.
And one of those things is really intricate because there's that saying as well that love will grow. Like our family, like people say, you know what, it might not be what you want, it's not the ideal situation, it's not, but this is the ideal. And in terms of love will grow. You learn to love this person as you go along.
Love grows for men. Love doesn't grow for men. If a man does not love you, it's not going to happen. For women, because women are created in a different way, we can love. When a man shows us affection, love in our hearts can grow. But for a man, I don't think so. So it might be that she is his ideal, right? And this man is just being pushed to do this introduction based on what the family wants. So to look at it from that point of view and decide if she's sure that this is the person and the love they have within themselves is strong, she can fight for the relationship and say, you know what, I don't want you to make a mistake. I know. But men also can be very deceptive. He might be that
I say don't waste your time, little girl or big lady. I beg, just move on. All that fight is too much energy. Fight for relationship. I say it shouldn't have to be so hard. Why is it so hard? Everybody, love is difficult. Love. You know what? There's one life to live. When you die, you're gonna die alone. And I don't know if you've been seeing the same, but every day I go on Facebook, I see a young person, RIP, people just go. I know a personal friend of mine, very, very young kids, just gone just like that. And you're there trying to fight for what? When I think that, truth will set us free. At this point, we are going to take a quick break, but we'll come back with another LL tip for you guys. So don't go anywhere. Get a quick coffee, maybe tea, come back, and we'll do the next LL tips.